Welcome everybody to another edition of 5 Minute Adventures. Today we are in Surrey BC. We are at the Vintage Truck Museum located on 176th Street and 60th Avenue. So let's take a look around and see what we can see. Starting on the outside of the museum, we have an old Jeep here. War used Jeep. Everything in this museum does run and drive. As well as an old moving and storage trailer. Well, let's go in and see what we can find inside. When we first enter into the museum, we're welcomed by this 1947 Diamond T. Let's take a look and see what's in the back. You can see from the pictures that this 1957 Diamond T was in pretty rough shape. But in the time that it's been at the museum here, they've done a full restoration on it. And now it's this beautiful blue and gray paint job. It just looks amazing. They did such a good job on this. As we move over to this GMC, this one was just brought in. They have a lot of work to do on this one still. As you can see from the engine, it's pretty dirty, needs a lot of work. This particular Graham has gone through a full restoration already, and now it's doing a ground up restoration again. I look forward to seeing it when it's all done. This Dodge Airflow is one of only 3 in the world. There's this one in Surrey. There's one in another museum in the States, and there's a fully restored one down in New Zealand. What they're trying to do here is rebuild the tank for it, because the tank was falling apart and in dire need of repair. This is a picture of this exact vehicle back when it was new. This 1929 white Model 59 belonged to the Shell Corporation and was used to haul gasoline around Vancouver. Since its retirement many years ago, it has also gone through full restoration, runs and drives, and looks amazing with this bright color. This 1936 Indiana Model 89 was the very first commercial vehicle to be driven across the Coquihalla Highway 5 in British Columbia back when it opened in 1986. Now belongs to the museum. It was donated by Andy Craig. Let's take a look in the back and see that it's all set up for camping and as a rolling museum itself. This 1941 International was built in 1942 and had military service. It's wonderfully restored here at the museum. Now we have a 1937 Mack EQ. Wooden deck on it. This one was converted to haul coal, as you can tell by the way that the deck is slanted at the back. This particular vehicle was built in the US and exported to England, where it was used in the war efforts, and then it was transported back to Canada, where it was converted into the vehicle that you see now. Originally, it did not have the enclosed cab. We have a 1932 International A4. Beautiful truck. Not much to say about this. If you want to stop and read the placard, go right ahead. Followed beside it by this 1924 Federal 825. Again with an open side on the cab. This GMC fire truck was used in Hope, BC for many decades. At one point it was transported across Canada by rail and then driven back through the northern US back to British Columbia. This 1946 Chevrolet Maple Leaf only has 77 original miles on it. It was put into storage almost immediately after it was purchased. Hard to find a truck with that low of mileage nowadays. Even the cab looked completely original. Along with trucks, there's a lot of memorabilia, including a lot of parts, as well as a lot of die-cast models of various models of truck throughout the years. Here's just a small sample of what they have. This 1953 Austin A40 light pickup truck, sitting near the entrance of the museum. There's two BC Tel vehicles that are here. We have this van as well as this green truck. Both of them, of course, used in the efforts of setting up the telephone system across British Columbia. We have here some wooden models, amazing replicas in wood. Just a handful of many of the models that they have in the museum here, all behind glass. Let's take a look at some of the other ones that they have. Most of these other ones are die-cast metal. You can see that shell truck there is very similar to the one that we saw earlier in the video. A lot of logging trucks, a lot of tow-type trucks. Even some newer vehicles like the Hummer model that's there. Boats and excavators. As we move along to this 1926 International, just a wonderful example of the way that technology used to be back in the original days of trucking. Parked behind that one, we have this 1946 Fargo with the hood up so we can see the engine. Then beside that, this 1935 Chevrolet QD, again with the wooden deck on the back. Vibrant red color for the cab. This Chevrolet dually truck, used for hauling all kinds of things in the past. And a 1910 white steam van. Looks kind of like a Munster mobile. It's a beautiful, beautiful example of a vehicle. Along with all the vehicles, they of course have all of the emblems and placards for the various makes and models of all of the trucks. They also have these replica models of a mechanic shop or possibly even an assembly plant. Looks like the kind of thing that you would use if you were filming a movie and you needed a small model to represent a larger space. As we look at these, this is going to come to the end of our video. I want to thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.